Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob to give you some of my thoughts on The Woman in Cabin 10, which is a Netflix film based on a book which I have not read, so I cannot really compare and contrast with any of that. Um, I was drawn to it because of Keira Knightley, who I've become a pretty avid fan of. Still a ton of her work to catch up on, but I've always liked her, and even just as recently on the Black Doves series, coincidentally on Netflix too. So I was a bit drawn to it, when she was announced to be leading it, and I thought I'd check it out because I just watched something else of hers the day prior, Princess of Thieves, by the way, all the way back in 2001. But The Woman in Cabin 10, she's an investigative journalist, kind of a whistleblower type like that, dog with a bone, that kind of idea. So she's invited to sort of, as an assignment, sort of, chronicle the kind of like the last days or the last like kind of trip of this dying woman who she and her husband are a bit of like entrepreneurs, philanthropists, stuff like that. But then she sees someone go overboard, and despite a lot of like physical indications and her having interacted with this person, no one else seems to have any idea who it was. um, so it kind of like unravels as she kind of seems like crazier and crazier, and no one believes her. And I'll say I like this movie fine. I thought it was okay. Keira Knightley is very, very good in it. I sort of like the side to it. As she kind of seems to grow more erratic, she's wearing like very little makeup and everything. She's getting kind of more kind of isolated. I kind of like what they created with that, and it goes with the atmosphere the film does have a solid amount of, at least for a little while. Just sort of like the natural isolation and seclusion of it being on a boat, that location. It does bring a little something to it. The atmosphere can be a little dense at parts, but that kind of fades as it goes. The movie and sort of what the revelation is that we're building to here just is not worth it. It's pretty much the most generic explanation you can think of as to who's behind what. And by the time you get the revelation of everything, the runtime just gets pretty dragged out at that point, for what that revelation and explanation of everything is worth. It just gets pretty played out at that point, and it probably should have been a bit shorter. There is a bit of a layer going to the details of some of that I guess was a little out of left field, maybe a little less predictable, but the main bulk of it itself pretty much is. Making a movie thus kind of what you'd think of when you do click it. It's worth it for Keira Knightley's performance. Again, she's fantastic in this. There's other good actors in this. I mean, you have even David Morrissey, Hannah Waddingham, who I liked a couple years ago on The Fall Guy, Guy Pearce. So there's talent here, and the movie isn't like terribly made or anything like that. It's just, unless you're a big fan of Keira Knightley, or just kind of like a modest medium cook thriller, I don't know how much this will really stick. But yeah, if I had to letterboxed it and rate it out of 5, I'd give it like a 3, 2.5, maybe somewhere in there. Again, not terrible. I've seen mixed reviews on it. Some people seem to love it. Some people seem to think it was pretty boring. I think it's decently engaging if you like the actors. But is it worth it? Let me know you guys thought about this one. Follow me on Twitter, Letterboxd, TikTok, of course, Instagram. Later.